Girls of Reddit, what is it like to be a from a girl's perspective? A heat flows down there, my clit tingles, and, bear with me now, I feel empty. It's hard to describe, but my vagina physically feels empty, like it needs to be filled with something. That is really interesting to hear, because it is the exact opposite of what I feel as a man. I kind of just feel like I need to put that thing somewhere. It really tells you how perfect human sexual biology really is. Am I the only chick here who doesn't like the itch analogy? That sounds gross. To me, it's more like this achy, throbbing desire for pressure on the outside parts, and the feeling of needing something in me to grip on. Damn it, now I'm a-trinny. Yeah, I don't get the itch, but need to be filled. And suddenly my mind is filled with fantasies about the guy I'm a-trinny for. Guys, that first insertion and the girl makes an OMG face, that isn't fake. That is for real OMG, yes, finally I am being filled face. Yes. First insertion is amazing. Damn it, I really wish my BF would show up right about now. The face a girl makes when this happens is so damn hot. Makes you feel like a champion. As a virgin, I've never felt like I've been missing out more than right now in my entire life. Edit. Wow, I appreciate the ups. You guys don't even know the half of it though. I'm married, 4 years, and still a virgin. I love my wife, but for many reasons I don't want to get into, we just can't do it. Almost everything else in our relationship is great. But the no sex makes me want to start all over sometimes. I saw this thread and thought I was born for this because I have the biggest sex drive of anyone I know, but then I realized I didn't have anything interesting to say that hadn't already been said. Clit gets bigger, feels more sensitive, and warmth from the rush of blood. Sometimes I can feel my pulse through my vagina, which is cool. I also want to take this time to debunk the myth that girls are never as a-trinny as guys or whatever. They are. I'm a huge pervert. I would spend entire days in school and church, when my parents forced me to go, thinking about sex non-stop. Whenever I could really. In the car, trying to find ways to subtly get off. School bathrooms. It was really bad. I've come 20 plus times in one sitting before. Much more controllable since puberty, but still worse than anyone I know. Not sure why, but I really want to get this through to people. I never understood that girls don't think about sex myth. I mean, when I was in high school, everyone was F-king, regardless of gender. Lol, yeah, exactly. I just suffered through too many long hours of being a-trinny without any way to do anything about it, to read some dude on the internet say women will just never understand how hard it is to have a guy's sex drive. Like, fight me bro. I will make this a competition over who is the bigger pervert here. So I start off just getting a little bit flushed. I feel mildly hotter all over my body and I start to get really aware of how soft my skin feels. A mild touch of my hand on my thigh might send me shivering. I often rub my thighs together if I'm in public to alleviate the need to move, but it pretty much ends up with me getting hotter. I can feel myself start to throb and my breathing starts to fluctuate. Then the thoughts start coming, every hot situation you've been in, all the guys you thought were cute, and all the fantasies you've been having lately. I often find myself thinking about a fantasy and have to abruptly stop, or I'll get really frantic with the need to have sex. Something that always happens is the need to be filled. I can't describe it, but I just feel empty and want something in me, sliding. Even if you take care of yourself, you can still feel the echoing throb, the clenching of your muscles wanting to pull something inside of you. Yeah, also you get really wet. It's sort of like a craving to be touched that increases the more aroused I am. It spreads through my vulva with a flushing feeling that builds up. There's a tingly sensation as well as a lot of warmth, and I start getting wet. As it all increases, I just get this really tingly and warm feel that makes me have such a strong desire to be touched. Edit. I cannot believe how many go on replies there are. My god, you guys are ridiculous, lol. Alright, I'll go on. So following up to that, when I'm like just really aroused, there's this tingly, yes, there's a lot of tingles, butterflies in stomach kind of feeling, which basically like pulses throughout my body and into my pussy, and it just is a really intense and kind of different response. It's hard to explain and I'm not sure if it's like this for others, but it gets really strong. It also makes me feel really dirty. Though not in a bad way. On my clitoris and in my vagina is just like this constantly racing and very moist sexual warmth, and my legs pretty much spread involuntarily and I get squirmy at this point. There often also comes this strong desire to be filled by something. Even on the topic of wetness, it's pretty easy to notice and everything becomes so much more sensitive, not just sexual parts, though they definitely do too. I get a real excited feel in my head, but it's also really relaxed at the same time. I just kind of go into a trance lull. My breathing normally speeds up, and mentally I just shift into this more sex-centered zone where I feel this need to be stimulated so very much, or if with a partner then things like kiss them and any other lustful acts. Edit 2. Try to find the end. It's an insane challenge, tingly and wet. When you want to touch yourself but can't because you're in class is the worst. Rubbing your thighs together just give you a tiny pleasurable sensation. It's kinda like, hey, I kinda wanna have sex, then after a while it's like, yeah, a pee niche around here would be pretty great. Then a while later it's like, that dude probably FCKs really good. I want to FCK him, then finally for the love of all that is holy, I want to FCK anyone super accurate. I don't really get any physical feeling of horniness though unless I actually get in physical contact with someone. It's just a growing inability to think of anything other than cock. For me, it starts out in a way that I imagine is similar to guys. I start getting distracted. In the car alone or when watching TV, I find myself subconsciously getting restless in my seat or touching my neck. I meet mediocre-looking guys and immediately seek to confirm a vacant left ring finger, then start scrounging for their best attributes and justifying why I feel like I'm holding back to keep from pressing my body against them. It clouds everything. Then, once the engines are actually revved and you're getting down to business with someone who is halfway talented, the touches are amplified, everything gets warm and relaxed, yet intense. I, personally, have a tendency to get needy and rush things. My hips want to grind. Then comes the entrance. Everything is warm and swollen and wet and the feeling of, oh, God. Yes. That's what I've been looking for. It's tingly and relaxing and satisfying. Guys. Tip, don't rush that moment. Get in, all the way in, and press your whole body against body, chest to chest, add a deep kiss, hold it for just another second and then go to town. Edit. After thinking about this more, I've decided it's like being hungry for something you've been looking forward to for days. You eat light for a couple days and fill up on veggies, masturbate. It ties you over but isn't really satisfying. Then comes your reservation. You've been thinking about the possibilities for dinner all day. You get to the restaurant and get eager waiting. You just want to order and eat, ASAP, but you have to wait. You're seated. Place your order. You're so hungry. They give you something to munch on but you want more. You try to distract yourself but you're only thinking about your meal crossing your lips. Every time the waiter passes you think he's there with your stuff, but not quite. More eagerness bordering on impatience. Stomach rumbling. Mouth is watering. Just have to eat. Then it comes. The plate barely hits the table before the food is in my mouth and it's everything I've been waiting for. Closed eyes. Slump back in the booth. Delicious. Warm. Satisfying. Takes me to another place for a moment and I want it to last forever. Then I snap out of his and wolf the whole thing down. Like that, except not my mouth and stomach. My vag. Sometimes I have so many other symptoms going on that I don't even realize it's horniness. I get very antsy, I just want to go on an adventure. I want to eat good food, drive fast, do something exciting. Then when I finally have I'm like, oh, that's all I needed, and I can finally relax. Well, seeing as I'm currently experiencing it now, I'll try to explain. I'm sure every girl is different though. It starts as a really warm tingle across my entire pelvis. Everything becomes hypersensitive. Any touch across the back of my neck or stomach will make me groan and shiver. I want to be touched, caressed, spanked, and licked all over my body. The hornier I get, the more the tingle changes into an ache. I want something in me and I want it now. By this stage, I'm just so. I love to be teased. Tease me and I'll absolutely beg to get F_ked. It's the most frustrating, arousing, hot feeling ever. And the moment when he first slides inside you with no resistance because you're just so wet. MMMH. It sucks because you can use toys or items to help it a little, but usually, at least in my case, it's a constant one to just get F_ked. It's like something just clicks when you're near someone attractive and all you can think about is them naked on top of you thrusting. Graphic I know, but it's difficult to handle. Okay, it's like this. You're a little hungry, and there's this burger joint right down the street. Not a hit Y McDonald's or something, this high-end classy burger joint where everything tastes like heaven. You're not hungry, just enough to notice it, but when you start thinking about that burger place, and it make you hungrier, and you start to feel that emptiness in your belly, and you're like, man, I could go for a burger. So either A, you go get your burger and it feels so juicy and good and you feel full and happy afterwards and you get all fat and lazy, or B, you ignore it/eat something else and it's okay but it's not nearly as satisfying. Mostly, for me, anyway, horny is about scratching that itch and getting that fullness and satisfaction and all the happy hormones. Turned on is a whole different thing altogether and requires intimacy or mental stimulation. Well, it's different for everybody, plus I'm on the fence about what I identify as, but I've always just felt warm, vagina-wise, and it just kinda spreads to everywhere the longer it goes on. You know the weird feeling you get when you have goosebumps? I get that on my thighs/waist and have this desperate need to be touched. It's even better when I'm already cold because then I just start imagining how warm and snuggly it would be to have somebody hold me or something, and it's just like FCK man, I don't even care about who it is anymore, just do it. It also happens very randomly for me. Thinking about kissing does it, but most of the time it's just vagina no, but then vagina's all like vagina yes, degrees, and I end up getting H-rony at very awkward times. Then I remember that I'm single and eat some cheesecake because being H-rony makes me very hungry.